In today's class, we will practice 2 different ways to do a headstand. Let's begin seated in a cross-legged position. Roll your shoulders up and back and belly button into your spine. Interlace your fingers behind your head and let's flex our neck forward, stretching out the back. Breathing into any tension you may have. And then open the elbows and extend the neck, maybe looking up to the ceiling. Try to release through the collarbone, relaxing the shoulders as much as you can. And come back to center, release the hands onto the knees, and let's rotate our head looking to the right, keeping your shoulders forward. Come back to center and rotate your head to the left. Trying to turn your head as much as you can without moving the shoulders. Come back to center, fingertips to the mat, and bring your right ear to your right shoulder, and maybe place your hand on the opposite side of your head. Just feeling the weight of your hand and not pulling. And release over to the other side, maybe reaching for the opposite side. Again, just feeling the weight of your hand and not pulling, and feeling a stretch and release in the side of your neck. And release. Bring your chin to your chest, and let's circle our head slowly to the right, maybe stopping wherever you may feel some tension, and over to the other side, releasing tension, breathing through this stretch, and back to center. Bring your right arm out to the side, cross your midline, and pull your arm towards you. Relax your shoulder away from the ear, feeling this stretch in the back of your right shoulder. And release. Bring your arm up, tap your shoulder, and reach around for your elbow. And maybe come into a lateral stretch. Opening up the side of your body, keeping those ribs in. And release. Repeat that to the other side. Bring your left arm across your midline, pulling it close, stretching out the back of your shoulder. And left arm up, tap your shoulder, reach for the elbow, and lateral stretch over, opening up the side of the body, keeping the rib cage closed. And come back up to center. Reach your arms behind you, interlace your fingers, and come into a chest expander. Feeling length through the neck, softening through the shoulders. And release. Reach your right arm out in front of you, and let's extend our hand back towards us, stretching out our wrist. And flip the palm so the fingertips are facing down towards your floor, and stretching out the opposite side of the arm. Let's repeat that on the other side. So extend the hand back towards you, stretching out the wrist, keeping your elbow as straight as you can, and then flip the palm, fingertips towards the floor, stretching out the opposite side. And bring your hands together, and let's do some wrist rolls. So take those fingertips away from you and then circle them towards you. Away and then towards you. And let's do this 2 more times, bringing some mobility into the wrists. And come back to center, and then bring the fingertips towards you and away, towards you and away, taking those rolls in the opposite direction. Let's do one more. Back to center, and transition into a tabletop position. Wrists underneath shoulders and knees underneath of your hips, and your head reaching nice and long. Bring your belly button into your spine, and let's come into lumbar cat. So bringing the navel into the spine, tailbone under, and release. Navel into spine, stretching out your lumbar area, and release. 2 more times. Curling that tailbone under, squeezing your glutes, and release. 1 more time. Navel into spine, tailbone under, and release. Moving on to scapular isolations. Sink down and press. Shoulder blades together and press. Try your best to keep those elbows nice and straight and your navel into your spine. Let's repeat both of those. So lumbar cat, bringing your belly button in, tailbone down, squeezing your glutes, and release. Belly button in, tailbone under, and release. So we're trying to feel a nice spine stretch in our lower back. Let's do that one more time. Come back to neutral and moving on to your scapular isolations. So bringing the shoulder blades together and pressing away. Shoulder blades together and press. Keeping those elbows straight. One more time. And let's take our hands forward, coming into a chest expander. You can place your forehead on the mat, your chin, or your chest if you have a bit more mobility in the spine. Try to relax your face and just melt down to your mat. And come up, shifting forward onto your forearms. Sink your hips into the mat and press yourself up into a forearm arch, expanding through the collarbones. And keep your hands there, press the floor away, coming into a higher arch, and look over your right shoulder, bringing some rotation into the spine. Come back to center and look over your left shoulder, rotating the other direction. Try to keep your shoulders away from your ears. And back to center. Lower yourself down, press yourself up and back to your child's pose. Reach your hands forward, stretching through the chest, and sink your hips back. Come up to your tabletop, tuck your toes, and come into a modified downward facing dog. And then extend one leg and then the other leg, taking your dog for a walk, opening up the back of the legs. Find length in the spine from the head to the tailbone. And then straighten both knees if that's available for you. Look forward and take a gentle walk into your hands, coming into a forward fold. Relax the back of the head, and then chin to chest, slowly roll up until you come to standing. Let's bring our feet together, coming into some chair squats. Bring your belly button into your spine, tailbone under. Let's start with our squats, down and up. Squat down and up. You have 6 more times. Try your best to keep your belly button into your spine and keep your tailbone under you as much as you can so we don't overarch in our lumbar spine. Stay here and pulse. Pulse. Just 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stay in your squat. Lift your heels and lower. Lift your heels and lower. Really squeeze your heels together at the top. You do not have to come up as high as me. You can just simply lift your heels up and lower down. You're almost there. You can do it. You have 2 more times after this. This is your last one, and you're going to hold and pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back to your chair. Stand up, interlace your fingers, take an arch, and roll down to your forward fold. From here, step or hop back to your plank, lower your knees down, and let's do 4 push-ups. 1 and 2, keep your elbows close to your ribs. Last one, lower down, come into your upward facing dog, taking those knees off of the mat, navel into spine, downward facing dog. Release your right leg up into your 3-legged dog. Look forward, pulse your knee in 4 times and send it back up. Let's repeat that again. Bring your knee into your nose and pulse 4 times. You have this 2 more times. Bring your knee close, engaging your core. This is your last one, 4 times. And step through to your lunge. Arms up by the ears, navel into your spine, and tailbone down to your mat. Now open up, taking your arms out to the letter T, and get ready to move to a lateral lunge. So shift the foot and back, shift and back. Make sure your knee stays right over your toe. Really press off the floor. You're almost there. And stay here. And let's pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And move side to side for 8, 7, 6, really sink down, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice job, everyone. Come back up to center. Bring your feet a little bit closer together and toes in, heels away. And let's hinge forward into a wide leg forward fold. Place your hands on the mat, keeping your elbows in. And then if it feels comfortable, place the top of your head on the mat. Just feeling a little bit of pressure on your head. You're not putting your full weight on top, just preparing for later. And then press yourself back up and find length in the spine. Come back to that lunge on the right side. Bring your hands down, step back to plank, knees down or up. 4 more push-ups, elbows in, navel into spine. And lower all the way down, pressing into your upward facing dog, hips up, downward facing dog. And look forward, step or hop into your forward fold, and then roll all the way up to standing. Let's repeat all of that from the beginning. So starting with those chair squats, I'm going to the other side, so I will be facing you when we open up in those lateral lunges. Navel in, tailbone down, sink down and up, sink down and up. 6 more times. How low can you take your squat while keeping your navel into your spine and your tailbone under. You're almost there. And hold, pulse, and pulse. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, stay there. Let's lift our heels and lower. Lift your heels and lower. Squeeze those heels together as you lift and lower. Remember, you don't have to come up as high as me. You can just lift them a little bit and then lower down. Challenging your balance. You're almost there. You can do it. Keep breathing. And let's pulse, pulse. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back to your chair, interlace your fingers, take an arch, roll down to your forward fold, step or hop back to that plank position, knees up or down, 4 push-ups, keeping those elbows close. Lower all the way down, press up into your upward dog, hips up into your downward facing dog. Bring the left leg up into your 3-legged dog and bring your knee to your nose 4 times. Send it back up and knee into your nose 4 times. Really keep your belly button into your spine so we do not dome in our abdominals. This is your last one. 4 pulses. And then step through to your lunge. Arms up by the ears, navel in, tailbone down, keeping that knee over your toes. And let's open up that lunge, arms out to the letter T, and let's move into our lateral lunge. Here we go. Lateral lunge and open. Lateral lunge and open. 6 more times. Really pressing off the floor. You're almost there. And hold here, sink down and pulse. Pulse. 6 more. 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold here, arms out to the side. And let's move side to side. Trying to tap your toes, sinking into your glutes. And come up. Bring your feet a little bit closer, hands to your waist, and let's go into that wide leg forward fold once again. Bringing our hands to the mat and the top of our head to the mat. Remember, we're just practicing for later, so you don't need to take your feet off of the mat. We're just feeling the top of our head on the mat, feeling just a little bit of pressure. And release. Come back up into your lunge on the left side. Bring your hands down to the mat, step back to your plank, and last set of push-ups, knees up or down, your choice. Just make sure those elbows are in and your navel is into your spine. Moving into your upward facing dog and shifting into your downward facing dog. Look forward, step or hop into your hands, and then roll all the way up to standing. Let's work on our core just a little bit more before we move on to our headstands. So stand up nice and tall, bring your arms up, arch through the spine, and roll down to your forward fold. Step or hop back to your plank position and then lower down to your forearms, keeping your belly button in. You can bring your hands flat on the mat, or you can interlace your hands if that feels better for you. Pike your hips up, come back down, right knee to right elbow, left knee to left elbow, and repeat. You have 6 more times. Keep your core nice and tight. Try your best to bring your knee as close to the arm as you can. Stay right over those arms. You have 2 more after this. This is your last one. Stay in your plank and salsa hips for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pike those hips up. You can walk your feet in and then press your mat away, coming into a downward facing dog, stretching out the shoulders. Taking a little breather. And then come back to your plank position and let's do 4 walking planks on the right side. So you're going to lower down to your right arm, left arm, and then press up and up. Again, right, left, right, left. 2 more. Try your best to keep your hips as still as you can. After this one, we're going to switch to our left. So lower down to the left, right, left, right. Repeating that 3 more times. 2 more times. Keep your hips as low as you can. This is your last one, and then we're going to run it out with some mountain climbers. Here we go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees down, press back to a well-deserved child's pose. Extending those hands in front of you, giving your upper body a break. And slowly roll up to a seated position. For our headstand practice, you can grab an extra mat like I have. You can roll your mat up, and you can also place your mat up against a wall to help with balance if you need to. For our first headstand, cross your arms to measure the distance between your elbows, and then place your hands in front of you as if you were making a triangle. Interlace your fingers, making some space for the back of your head. Bring your chin to your chest and place the top of the head on the mat. And then lift your hips up into the air and slowly walk your feet towards you. The goal is to try to get your pelvis over top of your shoulders and your head. Stay here if you're still working towards that, or you can release one leg up to the ceiling, coming in to a split. Don't take that top leg all the way over, just reach it towards the ceiling. Finding your balance. And then release and switch to the other side. Again, if this isn't for you today, just keep both feet on the mat. Keep walking those hips up until you feel them right on top of your head and balanced. And come back down if you did the other leg. Place your knees down on the mat and rest in a child's pose. We're going to do that again with both legs in the air, but if you want to practice the split again, feel free to do so. If you can get your hips right on top of your shoulders and your head, you'll find that your feet will slowly start to float off of the mat. So let's prepare like we did before, measuring our elbows, creating that space, tucking the chin, bringing the top of the head to the mat, Walk your hips up. Now you can bend your knees in if that is easier for you, or if you'd like a challenge, keep your knees straight and just float the legs up to the ceiling. This is a bit harder. If you want to pause the video and go towards a wall, I invite you to do so. But try your best to stay slow and controlled in this movement and not kick your legs up. And then slowly come down and again rest in a child's pose. If you'd like to, you can pause the video here and rewind and try those two options with me again. Let's move on to our second headstand. This is called a tripod headstand. So place your hands on the mat as you would in a tabletop position, and then tuck your chin and place the top of your head on the mat. Your elbows should create a 90-degree angle, and they will be a shelf for your knees. So once you're set up, send your hips up to the ceiling and walk your feet in like we did before. This time, you're going to place your knees on your tricep muscle, so on the back of your arm. And if this is fun for you and you want to stay right here, go ahead and stop here and just balance. Or if you would like to continue, bend your knees, bringing your feet closer to your hips. And then you're going to send your toes up to the ceiling. Again, a wall might come in handy for this if you're newer to headstands. Keep your core nice and tight. Squeeze your legs together. And just play here, finding your balance. And then come out of it, bringing your knees back to your triceps or right back down to the mat like I did. And rest in your child's pose. Again, I invite you to pause the video or rewind and practice those headstands with me again if you would like to. Let's move on to some stretches. Thread your left arm underneath of your right arm, coming in to thread the needle. Feeling a release in the back of your left shoulder. Keep sinking your hips down and breathing into the stretch. And let's go ahead and repeat that to the other side. Stretching the back of our right shoulder and sinking our hips down into the mat. And let's release and bring our arms over to our right side, opening up the left side of our body. And walk your hands over to the left, opening up the right side of your body. Come back to center and roll up to a seated position. If you have an extra mat like I do, you can just shift it off to the side. You don't need it anymore. We're going to come to a seated position and roll down to our backs, getting ready for a bridge pose. So slowly and mindfully roll all the way down to your back. And then bring your heels close to your hips. And relax your arms out to the side. And send your pelvis up to the ceiling, coming into an arch. And you can stay right here, or if it's comfortable for you, walk your shoulder blades underneath of your torso, interlace your fingers, and come into a chest expander. Make sure all 10 toes are on the mat and press your pelvis up to the ceiling. Release the hands, walk your shoulders out, and lower your hips down to the mat. Bring your knees into your chest, cactus your arms, and then let's come into eagle legs, crossing your right leg over your left, and then moving into a spinal twist. If it's available for you, go ahead and look over towards the right side. Come back up to center, unwind, and take those eagle legs on the other side. And if it's available to you, go ahead and look to the left. Bring your legs back up to center, knees to chest. Just rock side to side, giving your lower back a massage. Rock yourself up, and let's come into a cross-leg position to finish class. Take your fingertips out to the side, and then reach your right arm over your ear, coming into lateral flexion, and then come into a diagonal stretch, and come into that side stretch and back up. Let's do that one more time. Lateral flexion, diagonal stretch, coming back up to the side, and come back up to center. Interlace your fingers behind you, coming into one more chest expander, maybe looking up, and release. Take one last inhale, reach your arms up, and exhale back down. Please like, comment, and subscribe to help this community grow. I'll see you next time.